Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to be using the Clever Dripper today to brew up a cup of the delicious Mexico Oaxaca. It is an awesome device. Kind of has a little bit of TV magic going on with it. Basically, it does not let the water go through until you place it on either a decanter or a cup, and it releases this valve and it lets the coffee travel through. So to start, you'll need a filter. This is a number 4 filter. You can find it in any grocery store. We also sell it online. And there is a little bit of an edge to it. You just want to fold along the edge. And make sure it's flat at the bottom and on the side, and it sits pretty flush there. Just to start, I'll show you exactly how this works while we rinse the filter. I'm putting it on top of a decanter so the valve will be open. Cool. And yeah, basically once the valve is open, the water drains like normal. So this is a little bit of a hybrid brew method, and when I say hybrid, I don't mean that it's the same as like an AeroPress or a French press or a V60. It's kind of a combination of a few of those things, because you let the water and the coffee hang out together, and then when you're done, it does pass through a filter. So it's technically a filtered coffee. So we'll just give this guy a dump. We'll set our Clever Dripper on top of our scale. We're going to be using 28 grams of coffee. I like to use a little bit more chocolatier, nuttier coffees with the Clever Dripper, just because it is that halfway point of full immersion and filter. So full immersion really helps with the body of the coffee and allowing those oils to pass through. I want something with a little bit more syrupiness. This Mexican coffee is absolutely wonderful for that. So we have 28 grams in. We're going to do a quick bloom on this for 30 seconds. So I'll pour 60 milliliters of water and let it bloom for 30 seconds. This allows just the gas to escape before ending up in your cup. And then, once that is done, we're going to add the remaining water. We're going to 425 today, giving me a 1:15 ratio. And because it's a full immersion, I just like to go around a little bit in the brew bed just to make sure everything is getting wet at the same time. We're leaving no dry pockets. All right, and now when you've hit your target weight, we're gonna put the cover on top. That's going to trap in all the heat. We want the heat retention to stay as much as possible. Helps with the extraction of the coffee, and actually with the body, I found is a little bit more nice mouthfeel if you keep that heat retention. So we're gonna wait for another minute and a half. We're gonna drain this coffee at 3 minutes. So what I mean by that is at 3 minutes, I'm going to put it on top of this decanter and just let it drain. You do want to make sure that when you go to let it drain, you take the top off, because if you don't, you'll create a vacuum. So we want the water to flow through the filter, giving you delicious coffee, and we don't want the vacuum to be created. So a little bit about this coffee, the Mexico Oaxaca. We have a little bit more of it. If you are seeing this video and it's on our website, definitely check it out. Really solid coffee, everyday drinking coffee. I wrote up a little blurb about it. Definitely is something I would love to have any time of day, hot or cold, with breakfast, after lunch. Just a really nice, smooth, great, delicious cup of coffee. And we are approaching that 3-minute mark. I'm gonna get this ready to go. Removing the top of the Clever Dripper. And if you have a big enough cup, this will work just great. You can do a little bit smaller of a recipe if you want to scale it down to fit your cup. Just make sure it's going to be a 1 to 15 to start. All right, so you just plop that on, and it should drain pretty quickly. I forgot to mention that I used a grind size similar to drip, on the medium side. We don't want it to be too coarse because then the coffee will be a little bit on the weaker side, and too fine and it'll be a little bit too strong. So right in that middle point is perfect for the Clever Dripper. And it should take about a minute to drain. You don't need to stir it, touch it, disturb it in any way. Just let it do its thing and you'll have delicious coffee in no time. Today I used water that was 205 degrees. I like to keep it in that 200, 205 degrees, especially this is a plastic device, so any lower than 200 probably would lose a lot of heat as it's brewing. So we want to make sure that we have enough heat to extract the coffee properly, and in that 200, 205 range is perfect. The nice thing about a Clever as well is that you don't need necessarily a gooseneck kettle. So if you have just even a pot of water on your stove, you can take that as soon as it's boiling, wait 10-15 seconds, and then slowly pour that in there. Or you can pour it into a cup if you don't feel comfortable just pouring it right in. You can pour it into a cup and pour it on top. That's another great way to do that. And that's nice because you don't need to achieve any sort of pouring technique by using the gooseneck. So if you don't have one, this is a great beginning device, super consistent. And we are coming up on the end of that. As soon as it's finished, you can just pick up the Clever. If there's any remaining water in there at all, it'll stop it. So it's pretty easy cleanup, pretty quick brew method, and you have a delicious cup of coffee. Thank you so much. Enjoy the Clever Dripper. Slogan. I don't play games.